Welcome to the deep dive. This week, we're looking at a really fascinating couple of days last week, roughly June 18th to 22nd.
Right.
Two big, seemingly separate events involving Elon Musk's companies. You had SpaceX's Starship blowing up again in Texas, and then almost right after, Tesla starting its Robotaxi service, very quietly, in Austin. Quite the contrast.
It really is. And taken together, these events kind of perfectly capture that Musk playbook, don't they? You know, relentless innovation, taking huge risks, always pushing the envelope, even when things go, well, boom.
Exactly. So our goal here is to dig into both, pull out the key takeaways for you, and help you understand the massive potential, but also the, let's say, significant challenges involved.
Let's do it.
Okay, so that Starship, the fiery setback, as some called it, June 18th. A static fire test at Starbase goes wrong.
Catastrophically wrong, yeah. It was a pressurized nitrogen tank that failed, apparently. Big fireball, looked spectacular, but importantly, no one was hurt.
Still, watching those videos, it looks bad. And you mentioned this isn't new for Starship this year.
No, not at all. This is actually the fourth major failure in 2025. They like to call it rapid unscheduled disassembly.
Right, the old RUD.
Yeah. But what's interesting is, despite these, very visual failures, Musk keeps framing them positively, like big improvements, promising a much faster launch pace. It's partly strategic messaging, of course. Keep morale up, manage expectations.
But what's the real impact here? I mean, these repeated failures must affect things like the Mars colonization dream, right? And maybe more immediately, NASA's Artemis program.
Absolutely. Starship is critical for NASA's plan to land astronauts back on the moon, supposedly by 2027. So, yeah, relying so heavily on one private company, especially one experiencing these kinds of setbacks.
It makes NASA look a bit vulnerable, creates strategic risk.
Definitely. You can expect more scrutiny, more pressure on NASA about this partnership, and it brings up bigger questions about SpaceX's whole approach.
You mean the fail fast, learn faster mantra?
Exactly. It's being tested. Look, they've lost, over $500 million worth of Starship hardware since 2023. That's a lot of expensive learning.
Wow.
And here's the crucial bit from the recent failures. Each of the four this year apparently stemmed from a different root cause.
Oh, okay. So it's not like they keep making the same mistake.
Right. Which sounds good, but it also raises a question. Is the learning cumulative enough? Are they really building effectively on each test cycle, or just uncovering new problems each time? It's quite different from how NASA did things with, say, the Saturn V back in the day. Very methodical.
That's a really key point. Okay, so from exploding rockets,
Okay.
let's shift gears completely. Austin, June 22nd. Tesla's Robotaxi service launches.
Yeah, a much quieter affair.
Very quiet. So what does this look like on the ground? For you, the potential user, well, first off, you probably can't use it yet. It's invite only.
Right, and very limited. It's geofenced, meaning it only works in certain parts of Austin, limited operating hours too, and only about 10 cars, Model Ys, to start.
And maybe the most telling detail, there's a safety monitor sitting in the passenger seat.
Which is quite a step back from the grand vision, isn't it? Remember all the talk of fully driverless, no human needed at all?
Yeah, no one in the vehicle.
Exactly. So having someone sitting there, well, it feels like a pretty big nod to the actual engineering challenges and, frankly, safety concerns. A dose of pragmatism.
Let's talk about the tech itself, because Tesla's approach is pretty unique, maybe even controversial. They use Tesla Vision.
Right, cameras only. No LiDAR, no radar, which most competitors like Waymo rely on heavily. LiDAR uses lasers to build a 3D map. Radar uses radio waves. Tesla thinks cameras are enough, like human eyes.
But how's that working out in the real world? Does it have limitations?
Well, yeah. We know it struggles more in bad weather, for example. And even a Tesla executive recently admitted they're probably a couple of years behind Waymo in terms of capability.
A couple of years. That's significant. And then there are the hurdles beyond just the tech, right? Regulators, public opinion.
Oh, absolutely huge. There are still federal probes into Tesla's autopilot and full self-driving systems. State lawmakers are wary there's even a new law demanding specific safety compliance.
And the public. Are people ready to trust these things?
That's maybe the biggest question. Data suggests 60% of people think Tesla's full self-driving is unsafe. So yeah, building public trust, getting regulatory green lights, that's just as hard, maybe harder, than solving the engineering problems.
So why is Tesla pushing this robotaxi service so hard now, even with these limitations? What's the big picture for the company?
It's massive for them. You have to remember their profits took a huge hit recently, down 71%. This robotaxi network is seen as the next big thing, the next growth wave.
The potential payoff is huge then.
Potentially enormous. There's talk it could add $1 trillion to Tesla's market value if it works. And they have this idea, the Airbnb model for cars, where eventually owners could let their own Teslas work as robotaxis. That's kind of their secret weapon against Waymo, which has to own its whole fleet.
Okay, so bringing these two stories together, the Starship explosion and the cautious robotaxi launch. What's the common thread?
It's really two sides of the same Musk coin, isn't it? Audacious vision, super high stakes, pushing boundaries. But it also shows that this kind of progress almost always involves, well, expensive failures on one hand, and grinding through regulatory and public acceptance issues on the other.
So failure is part of the process with rockets, but with robotaxis, the friction seems more human.
Exactly. I think what this week really highlights is that for both space exploration and self-driving cars, the biggest hurdles now might not even be the pure technology anymore. It's increasingly about getting regulators on board and convincing you, the public, that it's safe and reliable. Society's readiness is becoming the real bottleneck.
So for you listening, when you see these headlines, it's more than just rockets and robots. These are really snapshots from the absolute cutting edge. They show that complex dance between ambition, engineering reality, and whether we're all ready for it.
And maybe a final thought to leave you with. The future of this kind of innovation, it really hinges on how we as a society, along with our regulators, choose to adapt to, shape, and ultimately trust these groundbreaking technologies. It's as much about us as it is about the machines.